much for joining us here. I am here with Chris Barnacle of CIE Tours, and we are going to be talking about our upcoming Irish adventures. Chris is the business development manager, and he's going to be walking us through the itinerary and tour tonight.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit about CIE, our Irish Adventure Tour, the places you're going to visit on it, and why it should be the trip for you. The tour itself, the Irish Adventure Tour, is easily one of our most popular tours. As I was reviewing the presentation, I'm like, well, this tour I already knew this, but I still say it to myself because that's what I do. It hits all the things you need to hit in Ireland. It has all the big spots, so you're not going to miss anything. And an in-depth, great overview, so it may introduce you to some spots where you may want to go back and say, hey, I want to spend a little bit more time in this particular region or in this town or wherever it might be. For those of you that are not familiar with this, and it's probably most of you, CIE Tours, we are a niche tour operator, which means we specialize in a particular region. And this year we are celebrating our 90th anniversary. If you make 90 years in the travel industry, you're doing something right, especially surviving the last 2 years, which has been challenging for everybody. Our core product was, for about 86 of those 90 years, has been Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. And then what happened about 6 years or so ago, because people that had traveled with us and they keep asking, where else do you go? Where else do you go? And for 86 years, it was Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. But we added Iceland and Italy to the mix back then. And we chose those destinations for two reasons. Number one, Iceland has been one of the hottest destinations around for the last few years. And Italy has been hot since the time of Nero. It just never stops. It's been a big seller, so we have ourselves covered with that. As far as just a little history of the company, CIE Tours, we are an Irish company. The CIE is an acronym for Chorus Umper Erin, which translates to the Irish Transport System. So we are under the umbrella of the Irish government. Very Irish. And then, as I said, with the office in Dublin handles our Irish relationships, and then the English, our friends over in London, handle the UK and the Iceland and Italy. So as I said, we're under the umbrella. Bus Éireann, which is the public bus transportation in Ireland, is our sister company, as is the Irish Rail. So we've got ourselves covered as far as Ireland goes. So just to review this particular tour we're going to talk about, as I said, it's the Irish Adventure. It's one of our best sellers. Your departure date is May 19th to the 27th. So the 19th is the start date when the actual tour starts, and the 27th is the last day. So your last night's going to be the 26th, and you return home on the 27th. It's a Dublin tour, so you're starting with one night in Dublin, then you're going to start to head south through Glendalough, have an overnight in Waterford. The following day, you're going to do Cove and Blarney Castle, and then you'll have one of your first 2 nights in Killarney, followed by a day on the Ring of Kerry, back to Killarney, up to the cliffs of Moher, a night up in Galway, and then you start making your way up towards Northern Ireland, towards Sligo and Donegal, where you'll have a night in Derry, visit Giant's Causeway and Belfast, and ultimately make your way back to Dublin. Why you should be traveling with us? 2 things are noted right here. One are our guides. If any of you have taken a guided vacation before, you know that a guide can make or break your trip, and flat out, we have the best. That gentleman right there is Donan. He was my guide back in 2019. He is one of our best. He is a local. One of the nice things when you're traveling with CIE, your guide is a local guide. So when you're in Ireland, you'll be led by a local person. If you happen to travel in any of other destinations, it's going to be a local. So they know the history, they know the folklore, they know the songs, they know the jokes, and it translates into the overall quality of the tour itself. Another feature that makes us special is down in the lower left-hand corner. That's the all-in advantage. And what that talks about is when you're on tour with us, our guides do not try to sell you any optional extras. As you saw, we've been around for 90 years. We know where to go, what to do, and we include that in the tour. So you don't feel like you're getting nickeled and dimed while you're on the tour. And also it helps us to attract the best, like Dermot. Because I remember when I was on, I think it was my second trip to Ireland, I was traveling with a guy named Dennis. And he was telling this feature, the fact that they don't have to sell is why CIE attracts the best guides. Because in his exact words, we're not salespeople. So they are there to do what they're supposed to do, which I like to say is to educate and entertain you while you're on the tour. You're going to learn something while you're traveling, and you're going to have a good time while you do it. One of the things we're noted for as well, and what travel agents love us for, are our documents. We don't just give you a piece of paper or a few pieces of paper and say away you go, but we give you a whole lot more, starting with the backpack on the right-hand side. We upgraded these about 3 years or so ago. They're great to have to put whatever you're going to need for the day, whether it's a bottle of water, medications, whatever it might be. You get a document holder where all those little papers are going to go. The luggage strap you're going to put on that coach when you make your flight over into Dublin, because it's able to identify your luggage coming off the turnstile at baggage claim, but also when you're leaving a hotel, the bellman will be able to look down the hallway and see if there's a piece of luggage to collect. As a side note, all of that is included in the price, so you are not going to be touching your luggage unless you want to. We also added international adapters. I know there's international folks probably looking at this, but so this is used for when you go to the hotel, you plug that in, you're able to use your shaver or charger, a shaver, yes, I still have an electric shaver from way back when. Also, you can charge your phone and you don't have to worry about buying one. We also include a rain poncho on the off chance that it drizzles in Ireland while you're there. And then you get the guidebooks. The Know Before You Go is the big one. Each destination has their Know Before You Go book, and it talks about all the little thises and that's. And just some pictures for you if you haven't been to Ireland. This is Dublin with the River Liffey splitting the city in half. You visit Blarney Castle on this trip, so you get an opportunity to kiss, as they call, the Stone of Eloquence, or the Blarney Stone, while you're there. I'll be quite honest with you. You climb up the stone stairway, and to me, in my little bit of claustrophobia, I thought that it was getting a little skinny. So as you make your way up to the top, you stick your head out over the edge of the castle. Get that gift again, the gift of eloquence, as they say. If you're not prone to making the trip up the stairs up to the top there, the grounds are surrounded. There's beautiful grounds surrounding the castle itself. Also, Blarney Woolen Mills is a great little place to pick up the little thises and that's if you want to do a little shopping while you're there. This is Guinness Storehouse, so this is in Dublin. What's nice about this tour, you have a free day at the end. And I'll talk about that itself. But the Guinness Storehouse is obviously a big tourist site while you're there. You'll have the opportunity to experience that on your last day, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. This is the Cliffs of Moher. So you're on the west side of the country. All of our tours include a visit to the Cliffs of Moher. It's about 700 feet high, sheer cliffs, as you can see, and it goes for about 8 miles or so from end to end. That's O'Brien's Tower right in the middle there. That's one of the points of interest as far as the Cliffs of Moher are concerned. But this is a great visit. We're up north now, so this is Giant's Causeway. These are hexagonal columns that have risen from the ocean over the period of 60 million years. Interesting note, you'll find a similar type columns over in Iceland. I discovered when I went to Iceland. You park up at the top of the hill, so to speak, and they have a little shuttle service that takes you up and down. You can make the walk if you want. It's a great visit when you're in Northern Ireland. This is Ring of Kerry, so you jump off from Killarney and you do the Ring of Kerry. This is a whole day, this particular day. Lots of photos, lots of stops to take pictures. It's got mountains. You take it down by the water as well. We make a few stops during the course of this day, which I'll review with you as well. But Ring of Kerry Day is a great day. See the beauty of Ireland. Just some pictures for you here as well. I think the one starting in the upper right, that was probably taken during St. Patrick's Day. You know, it was kind of quiet for 2 years, but we're back to the big party in Dublin for St. Patrick's Day. That's Ross Castle over in the middle picture there. Then we have this little guy here. Believe it or not, he is 70 years old. He's 70 years old. Something in the water there. I don't know what it is. And then to circle it around to the lower left, you got these two older guys. You know what they're saying? Huh, remember when we were 70? But yeah, so again, so it's just the reason we put these pictures here, as well as the picture for the pub, is that you hear it all the time, the big part of the experience of Ireland are the people themselves. You know, we give you ample free time to go out to a pub, maybe after dinner. You have a free night in Killarney, which I'll talk to you about as well. So you have ample opportunity on this tour to experience the locals, and they make such a big difference in the tours. So some of the highlights as well, the House of Waterford. When you're in Waterford, you go to the House of Waterford. You're also stopping in Glendalough, and Glendalough is an old monastic site from the 6th century for St. Kevin. So you see the ruins that are there. So you get to see a literally hundreds of years old monastic site. You're also going to visit Titanic Belfast in Belfast. This is a relatively, in the big picture, new attraction. It opened up in 2012 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the ship. And the venue is built on the site where the Titanic was built. And again, everything that I'm talking about here, your admission is included. You get front of the line access. The guy goes and grabs the tickets and gives them to you. There's no waiting online when you're going and visiting these attractions. And then your next to last night, where you're dining as a group, you're going to have dinner at the Glide Inn, where you'll have a nice Irish meal with some entertainment to close out the majority of your trip. It's a great stop. The hotels we use, all 4-star hotels, starting with the Clayton Hotel on Cardiff Lane in Dublin. Very centrally located. It's walkable to the main shopping. It's walkable to the Temple Bar area. It's a very good location. And as I said, all 4-star properties. This is Dooley's. This is the hotel in Waterford that you're staying at. We use 2 main properties in Waterford. This is one of them. So if you come out of the hotel, you make a right, go down 3 or 4 blocks, and you're in the central shopping area there. So, and you're right on the water for this property as well. So it's a great location. This is the International Hotel in Killarney. So this is your 1-2-night stay. Very, very centrally located. So there's one thing about Killarney, because it is the jumping off point for the Ring of Kerry. There's just a ton of restaurants, a ton of hotels, a ton of pubs. So this is going to be one of your opportunities to really go out and spend time with the locals on their trip. And it's a wonderful hotel. And then the Berlin Hotel, just about a mile or so outside of Galway. So very reachable by a quick little cab ride, but beautiful grounds for it as well. And I'll talk about Galway a little when I go through the day by day. The Everglades is up in Derry. Just love Derry. I'll talk about it again as well when I do the brief day by day with you. But nice accommodations, very centrally located. And then you're going to close at the Croke Park Hotel. So you'll finish your vacation with those 2 nights there. And again, all 4 stars. So let's just take a quick pick through the day by day. When you arrive in Dublin, again, I'm not sure how the flights, the folks that are already over there in Europe, what your arrival time. Some of the States, as a rule, you arrive in the morning. You're going to get transferred over to the hotel. Chances are your hotel rooms are not going to be ready because they have to clear out from the folks that were there the previous night. And then your tour is going to begin around 2 o'clock or so. So that's when you're going to have initially meet the driver guide. Majority of our tours in Ireland It is a driver guide, and the guides are continuously rated at the top of the grade when we ask for reviews. So there's nothing to be worried as far as that goes. And then your first stop that day is at the Custom House. This is new. We've added the Custom House to the itinerary on this particular tour for next year. It was originally completed back in 1791. I think it had a little bit of fire damage somewhere along the way and was rebuilt. But it's noted for its architecture. It's a great new stop that we've included on this tour. And then you'll make your way back to the hotel, check into your room, and then that evening you'll have a welcome drink with the guide. He'll answer your questions. He'll give you the lay of the land as far as how the week is going to work, what's expected of you, which really is please be on time as a courtesy for everybody else. He'll answer your questions that you may have, and you're going to close that first night in Ireland with dinner at your hotel. As you can see, there's 15 meals included on this particular tour. Breakfast every day, except on the day of arrival. There's a luncheon there, and then a number of dinners as well, this being the first. So we talked about some of these stops already. You're going to travel through the Wicklow Mountains to Glendalough. There's a little bit of a better picture for you. After that visit, you're going to continue on to the Dunbrody Famine Ship. So this is a replica of the ships that were used by the Irish when they left the country during the famine, left to go to the Americas in search of a better life. You'll be surprised at how do these people survive this trip in these cramped accommodations. So it gives you an understanding of exactly the desperation they felt truly to find something better for themselves. Then you're going to travel over to Waterford, and you'll have a walking tour there. So this is one of the towns where you're going to have a local come and do about a 45-minute walking tour. Then you're going to make your way back to the hotel, which again was Dooley's, and you'll have dinner in your hotel that night. And you're going to start your morning at the Waterford Crystal House, which is literally a 5-minute drive from the hotel. So you'll see the creation process of the various pieces. See some of the iconic pieces they've made, Super Bowl trophies, a number of different things that they made. They made a piece as a commemorative piece for 9/11. So there's a lot to see there, but it's the creative process that you're going to see as well. And surprise, you exit by going through their showroom. So this will give you an opportunity if you wish to purchase. Usually get a halfway decent amount of time in there. They'll ship for you. You don't have to worry about it, worrying about breaking it and carrying it through the rest of the tour. They'll ship it for you back to your home. And then after leaving Waterford, you head over to Cove. It's pronounced C-O-V-E, and it's famous for being the last port of call. There's another Titanic connection of the Titanic before it sets sail. And then after leaving Cove, you'll continue over to Blarney Castle, climb the stairs or walk the grounds, whatever's your fancy. And then you make your way over to Killarney, have dinner in the hotel for that night as well. As you can see, a number of meals included on this. So next day is going to be Ring of Kerry. So this will be pretty much a full day. One of the spaces you're going to stop is a wonderful shop called Moriarty's. Love it. It's got quality Irish linens. I purchased 2 sweaters on 2 different occasions for Christmas presents from my mother here. It's a little bit more pricey, but the quality is definitely there for you there. You're then going to continue on to Sneem. So again, frequent stops. It's a cute little town. I remember I had ice cream there. But you have lunch as a group at that particular in Sneem. And then you're going to continue through Moll's Gap, which is like a cut through the mountains. So very, very picturesque as well. Opportunity to stop for pictures. Ultimately making your way back to Killarney, where you'll go back to the International and have that evening free. So here's another wonderful opportunity for you to go out, spend some time with the locals, have a pint or two. You can go almost to any pub, but if you're looking for a particular restaurant, you're looking for, hey, what's one of the most popular pubs? This is what the guide's for. So be sure to use him as a resource when you're traveling on tour. Then you're going to leave Killarney, and then you're going to take a ferry off of the Shannon River estuary. It's not a long ride. The coach goes right on this ferry. It's about 45 minutes to an hour, but it cuts off a lot of driving time. Plus, it also gives the opportunity to see Ireland from the water. So that's kind of a neat experience there as well. When you ultimately make your way up to the cliffs of Moher, you'll have ample time at the cliffs of Moher, probably a good 2 hours, I would say. There's a little restaurant there that if you wanted to grab a bite to eat, you can do that there as well. And then you're going to continue on to Galway, where again, there's that walking tour again. So someone to take you around, tell you about the history of the city, and you'll have, again, dinner at your hotel. I like Galway a lot. It's a college town. And I always say you can't go wrong with a college town. So it's a great visit. Day 6, so you're going to leave Galway, and you're going to a farm, and you're going to experience a sheep herding demonstration. And I'll be quite honest with you, when I first joined the company, I was like, oh yeah. And they sent me over for the first time. I was like, oh yeah, and then you're going to do a sheep herding demonstration this day. I was like, ah, nice. But it is really cool. I've seen probably about 4 of them. Between Ireland and Scotland, I've seen probably 4 of them. The picture of the guy on the upper left there, I think he was the first person I saw. And it's just neat. They have, anywhere from like a half a dozen sheep up to a dozen sheep or so. Sometimes it's 1 dog, sometimes it's 4 or 5 dogs. That just by a series of clicks and whistles and words, whatever, it's a little different for each shepherd. But it was really interesting to see how the dogs work and herd the sheep around. It was really quite interesting. And then you're going to go further north up along the coast to Donegal. Where you're going to visit the Triona design, that they create tweed there. So you'll see the creation process for tweed. So it's woolen products down. At the previous visit here, it's tweed, where you'll have an opportunity to get a tweed jacket, whatever it might be. Then you're going to continue on to Derry and have that walking tour. Derry, to me, it's just super interesting. I'm a history guy, and it's just super interesting. And if you remember, Derry, along with Belfast, was the heart of the Troubles. And that was finally ended when Clinton was president. So in the big picture of things, it wasn't that long ago. So they talked openly about the history of their city. I remember when I was there, and so it had to be 8 years or so ago. And he was saying that when we were there, there was a music festival going on. And as you walk the city, there'd be like a band set up over here, and then a band set up over here, and a band set up over here. And it was a music festival that was set up in different cities throughout Europe. And they put it in Derry for that particular year. And he was telling me that the locals saw this as a victory. They saw it as recognition by the rest of Europe that, hey, it's cool to go to Derry again. So I thought that was pretty kind of neat. It's a walled city. It's a great walk. It'll be about a 45-minute, an hour-long walk. You'll learn a lot. It's a great stop. Again, led by a local. And then you'll have dinner at your hotel there as well. And then following day, you're going to head up to Giant's Causeway, which we kind of talked about already. Then you're going to continue on to Belfast and ultimately on to Titanic Belfast. And that evening, you're going to make your way down to Dublin again, and you'll have your glide-in dinner, and then check into your hotel for the last 2 nights. So your following day, it's an independent day, that final day. You get tickets to the hop-on, hop-off bus, and then you get a choice of visiting either the Guinness Storehouse, which I talked about earlier, Epic Ireland, which talks about, it's relatively new. It opened up since I joined the company, so I think it's only about 4 or 5 years old. And it talks about the Irish men and women and the emigration of the Irish from Ireland over to the Americas, and those that contributed to the success of America and things like that. It's an interesting visit. Then you also have the option of visiting the Teeling Distillery to hear about the distillation process. And of course, you have an opportunity to sample the wares, a wee dram, as they like to say, at the end of the tour, or you can visit the GPO, the General Post Office. When the Irish were still fighting for their independence from the English, they had a period of time there called the Easter Rising. in which they rebelled, put all their forces together and rebelled this one particular time. They did not do very well. It was squashed in the period of about a week or so, but a lot of the plans were formulated at the GPO. So they have a museum dedicated to that. And then the last evening, you have the opportunity again. There's your free night. Go out, spend your final night with the Irish and really make it a night to remember. So the following day, you're flying back to the States. You'll have breakfast in the morning, be transferred back to the airport, and you go through customs and TSA and all that mumbo jumbo over in Ireland. That's nice because on a couple of fronts, if you're connecting, and a lot of times you'll have 4 or 5 international flights coming in at the same time if you're going through Atlanta or Kennedy or wherever. So this avoids that because all you have to do, you check your luggage in Dublin and then you do not see it again until baggage claim in your hometown. You don't have to claim that luggage. You simply go from your arrival date to the departure date from the connecting city to wherever you're flying home to. It is what I call a beautiful thing. So again, quick review for you. It's a 9-day, 8-night tour, 15 meals in total. So it's the 19th to the 27th. That is the land start dates for you. It's $28.15 per person based on double occupancy. Should you wish to have your own room for the entirety of the tour, there's a supplement of $645. Should you wish, we are offering a 5% discount off of the land rate should you put your deposit in by September 23rd. So you have some time to think about it here. And the deposit is $250 per person. So if you take that 5% discount, that $250 per person is non-refundable. Should you choose not to take that, then it is a refundable deposit up to 100 days prior with final due 65 days, I should say, prior to your departure date. And just a heads up on things. This is where we are now. We are still in COVID mode, so to speak, as far as the cleanliness factor goes. Ireland is open. It's back to normal for the most part. The coaches are cleaned all the time while you're touring and maybe doing a walking tour. The guide is keeping up on the coach. As of now, we are requiring guests to be vaccinated to travel on our coaches. And that is through 2022. What it's going to be in May 2023, I don't know. We'll know, and we'll be able to tell you. And when you're ready to book, there's Wendy's info. There's her phone, 256-535-7933, and the email is wendy@travelwithwendy.net.
So I have a couple of things, Chris.
Sure.
For you. Okay. So the ferry that they're catching to go up to the cliffs of Moher, do people need like C-bands or how rocky is the ferry?
The ride's only about 45 minutes long, so it's not a super long ride. The day I took it, it was wonderful outside.
Okay.
The sky was sunny.
Nice and clear glass water.
Yeah, if you're super sensitive to that type of thing, you may want to bring it just to be on the safe side, but it's not a long trip.
Okay. Also, I just put this out there too. When I visit Dublin, and since the hop on, hop off is included in this, I use that hop on, hop off bus as transportation because it can get you all over the city in a very nice and educational way. And it's included in this tour. So I think that that's really cool that it's included.
That's a good point.
It was my tax.
It's included in there. You get one of, as far as admissions are concerned, you get one of 4.
Yeah.
But even still, if you go and you see other, oh, well, we kind of like that, but we really want to do that, you can hop back on the bus and go back to it and then just pay your admission to get into whatever the venue is.
Yeah.
Good point. Well, that's it for me then. If you haven't, you have Wendy's contact information. So when you're ready to book, contact her. If you have any questions, contact Wendy. If she doesn't know the answers, she'll contact
That's right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Chris, for being here. What a great presentation. I am so excited.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited just to go back in October. It's been a long time for me. So I'm sure you're going to have a great trip. I said, this is a super popular tour. You're hitting all the big spots, and hopefully, you know, maybe it'll give you a little bit of a taste to make you want to go back again.
For sure. And this is a great time of year too. So
it is. It is.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Chris.